she's done this before. And I would tell you this. I will say this, and I will embarrass her in front of you all, but I think she's one of the best young goalkeepers in the world right now, and I know people in France know that. But hopefully she's not only on the penalty kick save, but just by her performance today, people around the world are seeing that from her too, because she deserves it. Yeah.
In reaction to the match, of course, we have the former Super Falcons media officer. She's a broadcast journalist, Jane Francis Onye. Jane, good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are. How are you doing, Jane? Yeah. All right, Jane, of course, you know this team, so I'm going to be asking you some very, very in-depth question. What is your take about the Super Falcons after they got the goalless draw against Canada in their first match of the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup?
Well, I think it's a decent outcome. They avoided a loss, and that's the most important thing. You know, they were going for a win, obviously, but they couldn't get that. So I think it was good enough that they were able to get a draw in that game against the Olympic champions. So I think it's a very impressive outcome for them also. Looking at how far the team have come, what they have done, the build up to the tournament, the very not so convincing results from the WAFCON up to they got that victory against New Zealand in their last preparations, camping. That's before the proper World Cup camping.
Yeah.
So I think it's a whole lot of improvement. Also, maybe you could say some of the first choice starters were not available.
That's
in the
true.
persons of Halimatu Ayinde and Rashida Ajibade, but they were able to manage what they have and get that result. So I think it's a kudos for the Super Falcons in that match.
All right, what would you say worked for the team against Canada that made them got this result?
Well, I can say they were careful. They some of the players had the skill but not the experience. So I guess part of what would be ringing in their head is that caution message. Maybe we weren't done twice. The penalty Odega conceded, who is not a debutant, by the way, and of course Deborah Abiodun, with that very impressive debutant performance.
Yeah.
But only to get that red card, at the end of the day. So I think yes, it was really a very brave performance. You could see that there was a lot of coordinated game, in the midfield and in the defense. So where we had much of a problem is in the attack, and it's evident the fact that, we didn't get a goal in that match. We had two beautiful chances coming out of Asisat Oshoala in one of those, and they form out Numono, but we weren't able to bury them. When prior to the first match, when we played against the Alliance club in Australia, and we got, an 8 goal, and people were saying, is that a warning sign? Well, I said, I don't think it is.
Okay.
They are not the competition that would get you, thinking, oh, I'm coming in hot. But I think it helps them to have that winning mentality coming into that game, which was what made them not to feel so cowed by the Canadian side. So yes, we still need to do a lot more in our offensive, in our offensive positions, but midfield and defense, I think we were pretty decent, and we should build on that.
All right, talking about Asisat Oshoala, of course, we just talked about the attack, about how the attack did not gel this time around. Would you say you're disappointed with Asisat Oshoala? In fact, point blank, let me ask, do you think she flopped in that game?
I'm not disappointed in her. If you look at the Super Falcons setup and the setup that she plays with, in Barcelona, you would understand why the the output would not be the same. Her turnover is going to be a lot less. The type of quality she's surrounded with in the Barcelona side is not the same as she has in the Super Falcons.
Okay.
In the Super Falcons, she has a lot of job to do. She still has to, sometimes return when the team is under pressure to come and pick the ball, run all the way from the midfield. So you can't compare it to a Barcelona side where, it's a collection of the very best talent, or the very collection of good talents, so to say. So you actually have a good midfield, a decent defense. So all she just has to worry about is to be in a vantage position where the ball gets to her and she buries it. So you cannot compare that squad with what we have in the Super Falcons. So I think Nigerians also see her from that point of the Asisat Oshoala of maybe 2019 or 2016, where she could make all the runs. So it's no more that Asisat also. The bigger you get also, it's difficult to do some of the things you were doing, back then. It's not like the talent have left her or she does not have the stamina anymore. But I mean, her gameplay have, am I going to use the term a bit more advanced than all that she used to do before. So it's not easy, but I don't think she's a disappointment or she's a flop. No, I just think that, she's
more leadership role, right?
We have in the team. So with all the work she has to do, it makes it very difficult for her also to have that much of a goal turnover for the Super Falcons.
All right, we're pressed for time, Jane, but let me ask you this question because, of course, you're an authority in this. You were with the team as a media officer in the last World Cup in France in 2019. And, of course, there were issues regarding payment of bonuses and other financial entitlements at the time. It's happening now, but the Super Falcons seem very focused on this job this time. What do you think the Falcons are doing right to avoid all of these unnecessary distractions?
Well, the thing is, of course, earlier we were all a bit settled that, FIFA is guaranteeing that every player would get $30,000. But with the press conference, the pre-World Cup press conference that Gianni Infantino offered, or he seemed to sound a bit like it was now at the discretion of the FA, president. Mm-hmm. So, and that that would be a little bit upsetting. However, the good thing for the Super Falcons is that I think they are lucky in the sense that the NFF had a commitment, maybe not signed, but the NFF already said they were going to get $30,000.
Okay.
And they asked the NFF, okay, so if you say you're not paying us match bonuses, can we at least get the camp allowance, which the NFF signed off on. And the NFF communication director also confirmed this, maybe not in an email, but on some, social media platforms. So now that the development is this way, if the Super Falcons had any plans of, going back to ask for match bonuses, I guess they would be soft pedaling on that now and focusing on the federation, paying them the $30,000. But like I have always said that they maintained beyond Onome that there is no crisis. They don't have any issues. And it would be strange. And also, it would definitely be strange and probably backfire on them if they come back to say that, there was really an issue. We don't agree with the promises that the NFF made to us.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jane, for talking to us. All right. That is the former media officer of the Super Falcons of Nigeria, Jane Onye Francis. And of course, she was able to give us light as regards those issues in the Super Falcons. I mean, she's an authority who was with the team at the last World Cup in France.